to Speaking Cinema Serious Movie Jibber Jabber, a movie podcast. Coming to you live from the palm tree lined streets of suburban Chicago.
So many beautiful palm trees in suburban Chicago. Really lovely.
Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Tumblr, iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher. Speaking Cinema. If you're just tuning in for the first time, we are Speaking Cinema Serious Movie Jibber Jabber, in which we talk about a movie before seeing it, after seeing it, all for a contextual conversation about movies. And this is none other than Season 10, Serious Spooky Jibber Jabber 2016, where we celebrate the season by exploring some of the good old-fashioned horror.
And what day is it today?
Today is Halloween.
It
Happy
is
Halloween!
motherfuckers.
Happy motherfucking Halloween!
Oh, the best holiday.
And sadly, this is the end.
This is the end of our season.
We'll do a little recap at the end here and see what we've learned, but we're gonna...
There might be a horror show in a week or so with that election coming up.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Well, we're recording this quite a bit of time beforehand, behind the curtain. So, who knows what revelations have come out, who's dropped out, who's embarrassed themselves, who's been a fraud, who couldn't answer basic questions on a... who knows? Who knows?
Anything could happen.
It's, man, it is
Something.
depressing. So I'm hoping by the time I edit this and it comes out, and then maybe later in the future, it'll be a happier moment in history.
We'll see. 2016, you can end now, please. Thank you.
You're done. You've been drunk for a while.
You took David Bowie, you took Prince, just go away.
Yeah. Took Lemmy.
Took Lemmy, too.
Hard to believe that was almost a year ago. He died on Christmas.
Well, technically he was out in 2015.
2015.
But
Good riddance to you too.
We'll lump it in there, just fuck it. Damn it.
I am your host, white sheet wearing bespectacled Mr. Jibber Jabber. With me today, as always, the scared closet dweller himself, Kevin.
That's me. Sitting in that closet.
Get out here. This episode comes out of the most glorious holiday, the one we celebrate as it is the best, Halloween. And isn't it fitting? This week on the Jibber Jabber, we conclude our 2016 Halloween Spectacular with the film that started it all, The Night He Came Home, 1978's Halloween.
Woo!
Directed by legendary John Carpenter, written by legendary John Carpenter and legendary Deborah Hill, starring legendary Jamie Lee Curtis, Donald Pleasance, and Nicholas Castle. Sorry, Donald Pleasance, Nicholas Castle. Produced and distributed by Compass International Pictures. I believe Blumhouse now holds the right to Halloween, and a new one is in the works.
That's what I've heard.
With John Carpenter doing the soundtrack.
Oh, really? I didn't know that, actually.
Sign on. He's got to put the work in.
I knew he was going to be a producer and basically had his blessing, but that's great. I'm glad we get at least one more John Carpenter score.
This isn't the Fog where they asked him, what are you doing on the set? And he's like, nothing. They're paying me a lot of money, though.
Yep.
End of interview. John Carpenter, ladies and gentlemen.
Great man.
If you're not familiar, you had a good interaction with him, right?
He's a very chill dude. I just really loved working with him.
He could be bristly. We'll get into it.
Yeah, but that's just the people in the suits, man.
No, this is to the fans, man.
Oh, well. Yeah.
Well, we'll see. We'll get there. We're too far ahead, Kev. We got to back it up. If you're not familiar, and if you're not, about time you learned a lesson.
Get in it here, folks.
Get familiar. On Halloween night, a young woman must fight for survival when a killer escapes from a mental hospital. I'd say a few young women would have to fight.
More than a few.
But producer Erwin Yumblus?
Sure.
Yumblus? Producer Irvin Yablans sought out John Carpenter after watching Assault on Precinct 13. He wanted him to direct a movie about a psychotic killer that stalks babysitters. Carpenter and his then girlfriend Deborah Hill hammered out a screenplay. Budget $300K was secured for this production.
By producers.
That would be known as Halloween. Carpenter said he didn't want any additional fees for directing as long as he got 10% of the gross revenue and his name above the title John Carpenter.
A tradition that he's stuck with throughout his career. All of his movies are John Carpenter's
Something.
The Thing, or John Carpenter's vampires.
When are we gonna get Kevin Merritt's Babysitter Massacre?
It's in the works.
All right.
Check your local newspaper and lock your doors.
Filming was just 20 days in South Pasadena. Half the budget went to renting Panavision cameras. Actors wore or bought their own clothes. Jamie Lee Curtis' entire wardrobe costing less than $100. But that's a lot of money back in 19...
That's a lot of money for clothes in 78.
Yeah.
So. And I believe another big chunk of the budget was paying Donald Pleasance. His fee was like $20,000 or something like that. So a lot of money on cameras, a lot of money on the Pleasance.
The legendary... Okay, this is legend, and I'm going to get into this in a second.
All right.
But legend has it that the Michael Myers mask was actually a $2 Captain Kirk mask the production designer found spray painted in white. William Shatner, reportedly didn't know about this for some time until mentioned him in an interview, said he was flattered. However, if you turn a Halloween mask inside out, the hair doesn't come inside out with it.
No.
So I think that was the basis of the mask, and I think they used that as the basis, and then they created a real mask from that.
Okay. See, I always heard it was they just bought one, spray painted it, cut the eyes out.
Well, when we think about
Tease
it,
the hair.
when we think about it, if the hair's on the outside,
But they're not turning it inside out. Though.
this is what they said.
Is that what it says?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Who wrote this piece of shit?
No, well, who started that? Who started that rumor? I think, and also like they're not gonna just make one. Maybe they're gonna make multiple masks, and you have people. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? It's for the birds.
They only had 300K. And
Listen,
Donald Pleasance is walking away with
Let's
20
not
of
get the
that.
truth get in the way of a good story.
Absolutely.
Halloween went on to gross $47 million in 1978. One of the most profitable movies of all time compared to budget.
I mean, that is 47 mil. That's good for today.
Yeah.
In fucking 1978 money, that's like $120 million or something like that. That is a bona fide smash.
Mm-hmm. It is considered to have born the slasher genre, although one could argue Peeping Tom, the Gallo films from Italy, and Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho also had some influence, but nothing set the template like Halloween. Halloween was the template,
Yes.
right? You introduce some people, you introduce the killer, off them one by one. I mean, they did it. Teenagers, come on.
Slasher.
Influence felt to this day. As of this recording, Halloween, available on various DVD and Blu-ray editions and box sets. It's available for a digital HD purchase on iTunes only. Not streaming anywhere. But it's Halloween time, so maybe, look that up.
I bet it's they always re-up the rights around this
But
time.
someone's gonna fork it out, right? You might have to download.
It's definitely been on Netflix like more than a few times. It just kind of comes and goes.
You gotta look at Crackle and see if Crackle got it. Crackle. Have you heard of, or have you seen, or do you know? What do you know about Halloween?
Heard of, seen it. I'm gonna go out on a limb here. Say it's my favorite horror movie.
Whoa! More than The Thing?
Is The Thing a horror movie? Yeah,
What
sure.
the-
Yeah,
is The Thing a horror movie?
Yeah, it's a horror movie. Okay,
You can leave.
Okay, The Thing is great, but I think in terms of a more classical style horror movie, this is probably my favorite. The Thing being more of a creature feature, bleak philosophical type movie. This is just more of a for yucks horror movie.
A slasher bleak movie.
Yeah.
I have seen this movie. I probably saw it after I graduated from college, maybe, or maybe when I was in college. Maybe when I graduated from college, because this was never on TV. I didn't know where to find this movie.
Yeah.
It was not in the rotation on the USA Network, and I mean, I probably saw Halloween 5 and 6 a bunch of times. The one with Jamie Lee Curtis, the one with
Busta Rhymes, H2O.
Oh, Michael Myers, he's like the Shark from Jaws, which I don't disagree with, but just the way he said it.
Trick or treat, motherfucker. Yeah, back.
So, the sequels, I think, detract quite heavily. Although I do kind of want to watch Halloween 3 Season of the Witch.
Which doesn't make any sense to me, that title. Why are witches involved now?
Oh, you know that movie has nothing to do with Michael Myers, right?
Well, I know now.
Well, spoiler alert. In that movie, Halloween is a movie.
Okay.
Yikes.
Oh, boy.
So, yeah, I think the sequels, a lot of the one with Danielle Harris is supposed to be pretty good. Like Halloween 4, I think, which I think is the one I saw on TV. And I don't know. I was very anti-slasher for a long time. Now, have you seen Rob Zombie's Halloweens?
I have not.
None of them.
Neither.
Okay, those movies hold a special place in my movie fandom, where those are the only movies where I have watched them, stopped, turned on the commentary, and watched them again. And I did that for both movies.
Back to back?
No.
Or...
just when I watched. So I watched one, turned on the commentary, watched it again, and then years later, they did the same thing for the second one. So...
you should watch more commentaries, man.
I should. I still have time.
They're worth it.
I want to play more video games. I want to paint more pictures. I want to build more gravestones. I want to make more movies. I want to watch more movies with commentary. I just need to quit my job. I'd be so much happier.
Especially commentaries on John Carpenter movies, because it's never just John Carpenter. He always brings a friend along.
Yeah, this is Jamie Lee Curtis, right?
Jamie Lee Curtis for The Thing. It's Kurt Russell and Big Trouble in Little China. Rowdy Roddy turns in a great commentary for They Live. It's yeah, he always brings it in his commentary.
Have you watched the commentary for this?
Yes.
And it was good?
Very good.
Any bits and bobs?
It's fun hearing Jamie Lee Curtis just kind of fawn over every decision he makes in the movie. She's like, that is just so smart, John! And you hear her kind of hit him on the shoulder. It's great. Yeah, it's so much more fun when it's the two of them. Him and somebody else like just bullshitting the whole time.
Yeah. Now, truth time, Kev. Truth. You're not gonna like this, but this is when I was deeply unemployed. So I believe I watched Halloween 2, John Carpenter's Halloween 2. Okay. This is like, from...
well, he didn't do Halloween 2, though.
Yeah, he did.
Did he?
Yeah, he did Halloween 1 and 2. Remakes. Yeah.
Oh, you mean Rob Zombie?
Yeah.
Yeah, you said John Carpenter.
Oh, sorry. I meant Rob Zombie. So I watched
I
Rob
was
Zombie's...
very confused.
I watched Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, watched it again with commentary, then turned on Halloween, the original, and found it to be very boring. Now,
this one we're going to talk about right now?
Yes. Now, contextually, the best time to watch a movie is not after you watch two movies, one movie twice, and you watch the third movie, which is actually your second movie. So the last time I watched this movie, I found it to be boring. But I will fully concede that it was not an ideal situation to be watching this movie. Deeply
unemployed and having sat through Rob Zombie twice.
Having sat on the couch for 6 consecutive hours. Yeah. But my lasting opinion of this movie right now is that I kind of like, it's okay. Overrated, perhaps. We'll see on this next viewing how I feel about it. Now, we've jabbered about John Carpenter a lot on this podcast, and we will continue to do so.
We're kind of spreading out his director buffet season of just doing his movies.
Well, what I think is going to happen is that we're just eventually going to narrow it down so we can fit the rest of them into a season and just clean it off.
Yep. Might as well at this point.
So it might be like not this year, but next year we just whittle them down enough so it's like, okay, now it's 6 more and we're done.
Yep.
So, any new insights on the guy after the Thing episode?
Had a little interesting spat with Rob Zombie in the news recently.
Yeah, so between the time...
About a month ago. Here.
Between the time... No, it was like 2 weeks ago. Oh, yeah,
yeah. In relative to when we were...
So, but ironically, it was, like, we said, hey, let's pick our Halloween picks. Halloween, this movie came up. And in the time between when we picked it to between when we recorded this, they had a falling out and a reconciliation. But he called Rob Zombie an asshole, and he said regarding the remake, he said I told him to do his own thing, and then I don't know why he decided to. But then in the same interview, he said I don't know why he gave the background of Michael Myers. That's a bad decision. Well, but you said do your own thing.
Well, I believe what he's taking. What's the word? Taking issue with is that he said Rob Zombie said something else about what John Carpenter told him.
I don't think that's true.
That's what I think John Carpenter is saying, is that he said, that John Carpenter was very cold to me about doing this thing. And it's like, no, I told him do your own thing, have fun, click. I'll wait for my check. And
I think
that's what he was taking issue with.
I think Rob was like, hey, maybe help me a little bit. And John was like, what? No.
Yeah.
I'm playing video games.
Exactly.
Have you heard of the Civilization game? It's amazing.
Great.
So then on Twitter, I guess John Carpenter came out and said, hey, I called them. We squashed the door.
Buried the hatchet.
The thing is, I've heard, after this story came out, there's some articles about how John Carpenter could be kind of a dick. In that at signings, he does them, but he hates doing like signings and meet and greets and stuff. And I guess there's times where there'll be like a Lakers game on. He'll be literally watching the Lakers game and signing people's stuff while watching the Lakers game.
I mean, it's
not the best.
Every celebrity has a different take on the fan interaction and the signings, and stuff like that. So, and it's one thing if you're doing it and you really want to do it and you really want to meet the fans. It's another thing if you're contractually obligated to do it on this day at this time when the Lakers are on. You want to watch your Laker game, but you have to go sign these like sweaty fans who have seen Escape from New York 8,000 times. You know?
It just sucks for the fans. That's all I
mean, it's, I think in terms of fandom, these people who are these super fans, they can forget that these people are just people too. Mm-hmm. It's John Carpenter has his life. He wants to go to his house in the Hollywood Hills and play video games and eat his Fritos and smoke his cigarettes. And just, he's just not going to be the kind of guy that... Now, I will say, on the set of The Ward, which I worked on, he was more than open to signing anybody's paraphernalia that they brought. One of the key grips brought his copy of Big Trouble in Little China that he had, like, forever. He signed that. Carpenter signed my copy of the Ward script that I had. So he was more than willing to do that for people. Like, on downtime on the set, obviously. But that's a different situation of, we're in a break, we're just hanging out. It's like, sure, give him to his assistant, and he'll sign it for you.
Famously also asked you for fried chicken, and you let him down, Kev.
I did let him down. Sorry, John.
Hey, man, where's some good fried chicken around here?
Thudpuckers had closed. I didn't know where any good fried chicken was. Thudpuckers in Spokane. R.I.P.
Yeah, and I just think that, it's tough. It's tough with any interaction because, when you hear something on the internet, it becomes law, right? So it's like, maybe one day John Carpenter was in a bad mood and pissed off a bunch of people, and then they all like, that guy's a motherfucker. Yeah. And then you have this story where he's like, he was cool as shit on a movie, The Ward, which was, kind of a, it was a movie that, like, it was like, I listened to an interview with the producer, and he's like, I was trying to make John Carpenter make a John Carpenter movie when John Carpenter kind of wanted to move on. Yeah. It's like,
I mean, and again, saying that if that's what he wanted, he picked the wrong script to do it. That script's just not in the mold of a John Carpenter film. Right. Like what he would think a John Carpenter film is. Right.
So I think he was it was a movie where,
and it's
presumably people's feelings would be hurt because of that.
For sure. And like any artist, they don't necessarily want to repeat themselves endlessly. They want to try something new. Of course, he's too talented to not want to just do something different. So, but if one bad day and people get assy about you for that, it's like, that's just not really fair. And that's not the image I got of him. So, again, it's one of those things where fan interaction is just different for everybody.
Indeed. Kev, what are your expectations on this movie?
Hope it's still great. Hope I still enjoy watching it. Yeah, that's about it.
Same. I want to be wrong. I want to have been in a bad place and have been just not feeling it. 6 hours into my one movie film festival, just not not happy.
See, everybody has their bad days. You're just not feeling it.
Right. So I want to feel it this time.
Great.
Can you feel? All right. You ready to go?
Here we go.
We're back. Kev, we're back. It's been a while since I've seen you. How you been?
Been good.
How'd you watch this movie?
I watched my Blu-ray copy. I have the 35th anniversary edition.
With the black. It's like all black.
It's not all black. It's in almost a book.
Shape. I was there when you bought that.
Yes, I bought it at Amoeba.
The guy to look in the back.
Guy looked back, but found it. It was used. It was like $12. I said, give it to me. I want that bad right now. Yeah, it's kind of orange. Michael Myers on the front. It says Halloween 35th anniversary. Put out by Anchor Bay Entertainment.
I have
A Stars company.
I got it from the library. It was a black ray, where the
Black Ray, yes.
the border on the Blu-ray was black. And I think the disc was also black.
Yep. Yeah, I remember one of my coworkers, former coworkers, he moved on to another company, but him and I were both movie junkies, and one day he's like, "Oh, look what I got from Amazon," and it was the complete Halloween, like every movie in the series, and they were all in that Black Ray box, and so it was just a good looking box, just black and orange, and all the things are black, and it was just great.
Pretty solid.
Yep.
Also, I will say this Blu-ray copy I had, the colors look great. The picture was crystal clear.
Yep.
It was just like,
Same with this one.
And
a flawless transfer.
And I
supervised by cinematographer Dean Cundy.
Indeed.
It says on the box.
Indeed. Dean Cundy made a lot of stuff.
That he did.
The argument for VHS tapes, which is a small vocal minority.
I cannot wait to hear this.
Just shut the fuck up and get the fuck out of here. I just like when I watched last time I watched this, as I alluded to in the first half, I watched like a DVD, like a shitty,
Probably came in a snap case.
Yeah,
It was a
exactly,
flipper disc.
exactly. With the Halloween pumpkin knife logo.
Yeah.
And it was grainy, and it was like tracky, and it was just blurry.
The
and
cigarette burns were probably still in it.
It just looked like shit. You know what I mean? And it's like, that sucks. I want it to be pristine. I want it to be like the fucking first print off the negative. You know what I mean? Where it's just like, just clean as shit. You know, I don't want nothing to distract me from how great the images are. And this Blu-ray was very, very good. It was a very good transfer. So, the colors look great. Like all the fall colors, it looked good. And I liked it a lot. Visually. Kev, your overall thoughts?
Still really like this movie. Like it a lot. It moves. Has good iconography. Very excellent use of its limited budget. We talked a bit about in Night of the Living Dead that I felt
that was a little overly ambitious, right? They wanted
the budget strains can be felt
right.
in that movie with some of this.
They got a good explosion, but like they didn't get a good gunshot, and they got a good zombie makeup, but they didn't get a good hand mashing.
Yeah, this one is just very. The limitations that they have are used very creatively in the camera movement, in some of the stylings, some of the lighting effects. A lot of the stuff, just everything works really well in this world. And this is a perfect example of how those limitations can actually set you free a little bit. Because they make you think in a much more creative fashion. And that's just what I really like about it. Lean, it's mean, it's fun. It's a good movie.
Yeah, I really liked it.
Okay, good. I thought you were gonna be like, yeah, no.
No.
Hate it.
No. That's not the case.
Okay.
That's not the case. I really liked it. I thought it was much better than last time I saw it. It was just like I was just not ready.
See, it's a bad place can do anything to anybody.
Yes,
so
and everything to everybody.
Yes.
So I didn't find it boring. I found it much more thoughtful than last time and paced well and deliberately. It's not a fast-paced movie. That's not to say it's slow, because when you say it's slow, that's an insult. It's not slow. It's just not fast.
People equate slow with boring.
Right.
And I think that's wrong.
And I watched it with Emily, who wishes she could be here. She wasn't here. And she was squirming after that first, once they get to on Halloween night once they get to the baby thing, she was squirming for the rest of the whole movie, right? It really builds up the tension, and it really relies on a tense, just threat.
Yes.
And then
always there.
Really great.
Christy watched this with me as well, friend of the show. Same kind of reaction. Just anytime that music comes on, that iconic do 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 do, she was just can't even focus on what she was trying to do. Just enthralled by what the story was doing.
I will say that there's a scene where when she discovers the corpses of all of her friends, which is total Friday the 13th logic, where it's like It makes sense why he put her on the bed with the gravestone. Also, apparently he could wash that gravestone because there's no dirt.
There's no dirt on that thing, but you know.
But then one of the friends is like hanging in the closet, which is totally Friday the 13th logic of just like emotional torture. And then there's a scene where he's in the shadow and you just see the mask come up.
Yep.
And then he comes in the frame and grabs her or stabs her, stabs her arm.
Yeah.
I think in the other copy I had, you couldn't see him. It was so dark.
That scene totally wouldn't work. Then it's just a knife coming out of the dark.
Yeah.
Know? But yeah, it's seeing the mask, the looming presence at all times. Just, slowly moving forward.
That being said, the music in this movie, in the beginning, in the first half, they just throw that Halloween theme
I love that
over anything.
Kicks into black. No logos, no nothing. It's just black screen. I'm talking just the movie opening, you know.
Let's come back to what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So that opening is great with the pumpkin.
Yep.
And then the music, and then everyone's name, John Carpenter, Deborah Hill, blah, 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 blah. And then we slowly pan into the eye of the pumpkin. We stand there, and then we come out, and then now we're in first person, talking about POV. And you're going through, and that is shot brilliantly.
You know, done up to look like one take, but have very smart edit height.
Does it? Oh,
yeah, it's supposed to look like it's all...
I thought it was one take.
Yeah, no, there are definitely a couple little edit hides in it, but they're done in a way that's not obvious, or it makes sense within what they're trying to do.
Also, I was like, when they reveal it's a kid, I was like, Em, did you know it was a kid? She's like, yeah, it sits on the back of the box. I'm like, who the fuck is writing this shit? If you didn't know that was that kid, that would have been like, whoa!
This little kid. Although I can't decide in that scene if in the movie he kind of looks very concerned and almost looks like he doesn't know what he just did. I'm curious if it would work better if he was just very plain-faced.
Maybe,
it's hard to say.
You could interpret that as that's like the pain from him getting the mask ripped off of him. It's like a shock to the system.
Yeah.
And you could also argue that he shuts down after this, after he's killed.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And it washes away and it never comes back.
Yeah, but still just a completely shocking reveal.
Or Loomis, based on this movie, Loomis could be wrong.
Could be.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, Loomis, he's not necessarily this golden person who's trying to do the right thing. It's like he just wants to kill this guy to cover up a government mistake, you know? In a way.
Yeah. And then also he's saying stuff that's like, it's believable once you get to the end, because in the end, you find out that he's basically like unkillable.
Yeah.
So that makes more sense. But as you go through the movie, he's saying all this stuff, and it's just like, he's like, oh, there's nothing behind those eyes. There's nothing behind those eyes. There's just blank. But when she takes the mask off of him, he's not blank. He's like, hey, this is my mask. Come on.
Yep. Yeah, he's like, he just seems like he's in shock of what he's done. So
maybe the mask keeps him sane. Who knows?
Maybe.
But in the first half with Laurie over and over again, God damn it if that music just doesn't play over any goddamn scene that they have, right? It's like, Laurie, get in the car, we're gonna smoke some weed and go to my house.
Yep.
So weird.
It is as ubiquitous as the Braveheart bagpipe theme. So.
And it can't be understated. The movie has a good pace. It's not fast. It builds its tone. And when they're just existing on that day, it's just a quiet day in the way that like a holiday is kind of like that, where there's not that many people around.
Like even it's like when Halloween's on a Tuesday or whatever.
Yeah.
You're working. Yeah, you have to go to school, but nobody's trying that hard. It's Halloween. We all want to go home and trick or treat and go to our party.
Do you think that this movie was on a weekday?
I think so.
You felt like a Wednesday kind of
Halloween? They had to go to school. They're coming home from school.
You don't think that it's so you think it's a school night?
Yeah, I think it's school night. So, but yeah,
and that's why all these girls are eager to babysit so they can get their boyfriends in to.
Yeah. And the parents are probably out at parties or whatever. It's irrelevant, but it's This feels like a Wednesday Halloween where.
Well, I was gonna say, because one of my notes was like, babysitting on Halloween, parents are terrible. Like, your kid didn't get to trick or treat or nothing.
They got their sexy parties to go to. These 70s parents,
but
they're probably going to the disco.
I guess a lot of Halloween parties must be like trick or treat. For kids, trick or treat, then babysitting.
Yeah, it might be. Of course, it does show in the movie when she's walking home, there are kids out trick or treating.
Yes.
So there might be that. Like,
But their kids don't get a trick or treat.
Yeah, or maybe again, they trick or treated earlier, and now we're just doing the babysitting here. So it's hard to say, but it doesn't stick out in the movie.
It would be interesting to if there was a Halloween movie.
Getting back to the pacing, but like you said, it's a quiet day, and it does take its time to build the tone and the menace and the terror of what's going to come later in a very excellent way, I think.
Indeed. But I will say this. There's no motivate in this one, right? And okay, so here's another thing we've learned over the course of Halloween 2016. Great year. Great vineyard this year. There's another thing that we've learned over Halloween 2016 is that in these franchises, nothing is really explained in the first one. The first one is like a mystery. And then it's only later that anyone bothers to explain something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, in this one, it's like, there's no motivation for Michael. He just kills someone. He kills his sister while she's sitting there in the nude. And then escapes and comes back and kills some more people. That's it. And I mean, they lean into this very, very well with doing the boogeyman kind of a construct, you know what I mean? But in the later series, with Freddy and Jason, and they really explore the lore. They really give in to that need to, like, what is it all about? And I wonder, do you need that? Would we have been better off if there was only one Halloween movie and it was just this one?
I think they talk about David Chase, of all people.
Who's David Chase?
The creator of The Sopranos.
Of all people.
He talked about, The Sopranos had a very controversial ending. And everybody wants him to say, what's it about? What's it mean? What is that? And he says, as the writer, or as a director, or whoever it is, as soon as you say, like, oh, that's what it's about, then that's what it's about, And in this one, we can bring so much of ourselves to it and figure out what it's about as smart, worldly human beings that know things. And we can project a lot of our own terror and fears on who Michael Myers is and what motivates him.
And it's predating this concept, but it kind of feels like a creepypasta, right? It kind of feels like a urban lore legend,
Exactly, yeah. This guy in a Captain Kirk mask killed a bunch of people one night. And he escaped from a mental hospital and he stole a shitty car.
After killing people 30 years ago or whatever, 20 years ago, 15 years ago. What were we just talking about?
Explaining lore. I just don't really think you need it with Michael Myers. It does. I think it softens him in a way that is completely detrimental. I like that the most we ever get of him is a quick shot of his face when he takes his mask off at the end. Like, that's the most we'll ever get of, like, who Michael Myers really is.
See, I agree with you in the context of this movie. I do think that Rob Zombie did, because okay, here's it. When you do a remake, right? It's like you gotta do it differently, because if
looking at you, Gus Van Sant.
Well, that's for sure. So in that movie, the first half of the movie is basically the backstory of Michael Myers, and the second half of the movie is like Laurie, right? And then Halloween 2 is just about Laurie, basically, more or less. So in that one they explore his background, and it's kind of interesting, and it does.
What do they do? Give me the
Well,
spoiler.
do you want to do that, or do you want to save it for next year and we'll watch it? Or are you going to forget by next year?
I'll probably forget by next year.
I just think he's just a psychopath. He's just like,
Well, that's not that interesting.
It's done in that Rob Zombie way, though. So it's like, when it's brutal, it's brutal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the bully's picking on him, so he lures the bully into the woods and he starts beating him with a shovel. And there's this shot of the woods going around in a circle, and it's like kind of like the last thing the kid sees, and he's like trying to look away from Michael. And Michael has this no sympathy for him. Jeez. And when he escapes from the mental institution, there's some guards that abused him, like that were abusive towards him, and he kills them. And then there's Danny Trejo.
Oh boy, Danny Trejo.
Danny Trejo is always good. He's like, hey Mikey, he's like, like when he's institutionalized, he's always saying hi to him, and you see him growing up a little bit. And then Michael starts killing him, and Danny Trejo's like crawling away, and he's like, I was good to you, and he's just killing him and killing him and killing him.
Jeez.
So it's like it does sell you on that concept of like the darkness. Like this is the darkness. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That it's just like it didn't matter that you were good to me. Like I don't. It just doesn't matter. Not even I don't even care. It just doesn't matter.
Yeah. All right.
So let's. I'm gonna write down
Pencil that in.
Rob Zombie's Halloween. Should we do? We should do a double feature.
Sure. why
1
not?
and 2. It's playing at the New Beverly,
Is it?
but I think you're gonna be out of town.
Yeah. Got a busy October.
But yeah, interesting stuff.
All right. Check it out.
Check it out. And like all of the movies you did in season 10, the characters are on their own little world. Jamie,
Lori.
Jamie Lee doesn't want the dude that she knows that she likes her to know that she likes her. You know, like they're caught up in their little high school stuff, but it's really well done.
Yeah.
You know, where
It's believable.
right, her friend's trying to get some alone time with her boyfriend. Like it's like pawning off the kids, and she's like studying for the tests, and
Yeah.
PJ Souls doesn't give a shit about school. They're all in their own little world, which again is nice. It's like there's a big world, and then this is like a little cut that goes through it. Is the horror?
Yeah. Yeah, it's just they feel like fully realized suburbanite teenagers.
Mm-hmm.
Just like they did in Nightmare on Elm Street, or just like they did in Unfriended. They just feel like real teenagers. Not some screenwriter's idea of a teenager. Just like people who have real teenage problems.
Mm-hmm. Like, how can I get some beer? And why aren't you getting me that beer?
Or yeah, you're smoking a joint in the car and you're like, oh shit, it's my dad!
Like, I think he knew. He didn't know. If he knew, he'd say something. It's just like,
that weed smell would not have gone away.
No, it would
I like
not.
them trying to hold it together. Too.
I
That's
like
a funny shot of the two shots of them, and they're both trying to kind of hold in
Right.
their weed high, so it's great.
I kind of like the idea that the dad's like, yeah, I know. I know.
It's 1978. Who's not smoking?
He's like,
weed?
my kid smokes weed. Like, she gets bees. I'm cool with it. She's I can tell she's boy crazy, but it's not really like, she's not gone nuts. So I'm just trying to, like, keep the peace,
Exactly.
So that's my interpretation of that. Which I feel like when a movie is good, you can interpret it that way, right? If I didn't like this movie, I'd probably be like, this is so fucking, your dad's a cop, how can he not know? You know what I mean? We think we're dumb?
It's when you start nitpicking and stuff like that, the story's not interesting enough.
I like how the characters are likable, right?
Yeah.
Annie, like when Annie's stuck in that window, like that's funny.
Oh yeah. Great stuff.
That's really great. And like Jamie Lee is insecure in a way that feels very relatable and real. I think they hold it back just enough so she's not complaining. She's just insecure, right? She's not, and like so when the girl brings over the her kid and she dumps him off with Jamie, it's like also the ring across the street with the popcorn bowl.
Yep.
I laughed out loud. Something about that image is hilarious. And she said, "Can I bring the popcorn?" She said, "Grab the popcorn. Come on, let's go.
Come on."
But like, she's not mad at her for doing that, right? She's just like, yeah, go do it. You know what I mean? She's not like a. Another thing is that so with slasher movies, they always talk about like, oh, the virginal one survives, and it's like John Carpenter has said, he's like, it's not that. He's like, I think all teenagers do this. She smokes weed with her friend.
Yeah.
She's just the smartest one and the most insecure, right? So she's the most victim-y look, like that's who society sees a victim. The girl who drinks beers, we think that she's tough. The girl who
stays in on Halloween night and babysits and does her homework.
Right. She's weak. That's a societal thing. So I think that in this movie, they're not punishing anyone for anything. And especially with the kills, like they're brutal, but they're not complicated. And I think that even like in the sequel to this movie, they get a little complicated where like
it's almost like a Rube Goldberg test.
Right, exactly.
Jason style.
Right.
There's the sledgehammer in the ceiling, and the fucking blade comes down, and then she gets tied up, and then he can kill her.
Right.
It's like, no, you just come up with the knife, you sneak up to
him. Put him in boiling water. It's like, yeah, this one's just choking in knives.
Yep.
He's just like a fucking machine, you know? And, also the dialogue in this movie is hilarious at times. PJ Souls, is that all you can say? Yeah. Give me a beer. Huh? I thought you were getting me a beer. Yeah. Like, that was really good, Also, PJ Souls. Delight. Rock and Roll High School. Have you ever seen it?
I have not.
It's great.
We should definitely do it.
Oh, that's on our rock and roll list. I don't even need to write that down.
Love it.
Love it. Does anything not work for you in this movie? Your favorite horror movie, you said, in a world where the Thing doesn't exist, I guess.
I'll put it second to The Thing. How's that?
Thank you.
I'll do that.
Thank
The Thing is a masterpiece. You know, nothing really sticks out to me as just like, this fails. This doesn't work. I think maybe one or two fewer scenes with Donald Pleasance roaming around and explaining things.
I do like how he is like to the little kids, hey, get your ass out of here.
That is good. I mean, he's such a consummate professional actor, and he gives that character a lot more than I think is actually on the page for him.
Also, when they're in the Myers house and something breaks the window, what breaks the window?
I'm not sure. It could be Michael Myers. Could be Michael.
Interesting. Anything else not work?
Nah, really nothing sticks out for me.
Nothing that doesn't work, but it's kind of strange that Michael Myers is supposed to be the shape, the force of elemental creature, and he spends like 35 minutes in this movie driving a station wagon around, obeying traffic signs, and not really being a force.
He does just disappear on command, though. One quick look and he is gone.
I like that, and I like
I like it too.
I think that a lot of movies do an imitation of this, and I think this movie really does it well. Where and they stick to a very fast pace when they do that. It's like Michael from a distance, close up of Jamie's face, back to that original shot. No one in that shot. They keep it.
You know, and then it's a huge payoff at the end when he's shot. We think he's dead. Look out the window.
Same thing.
He's gone.
Right.
And like it's always kind of paid off in a great way.
And it's interesting because visually that's paid off. Like visually, it's the same motif that we've been seeing, but emotionally, we know that someone who got shot 6 times should just be dead.
Yep. But he lives on.
Michael. Boom 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 boom. Also, Loomis with his permit. Yeah, I hope you have a permit, son.
You better. I don't know what Illinois' laws are like, but whew.
Interesting jump scares. Oh, one thing that actually doesn't work for me is she keeps dropping the fucking knife. Hold on to that fucking knife. For the sake of God. One thing that jump scares. Jamie runs into the cop. No music sting, but a jump.
Yeah.
And the same thing happens with Loomis when he scares the kids away. The cop comes up to him and puts his hand on his shoulder. And he's like, ah, ooh.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because it's not as scary as when there's a gigantic noise or like a cat or something, you know, like some all of a sudden. But I feel like I want to see what that plays like with an audience. Like, what does the audience take of that thing, right?
Yeah. It's, yeah. I mean, I would love to see this movie in the theater at least one time.
It'd be kind of a cool cemetery screening, too.
Yeah, it would. Totally would.
Not doing it this year. Not doing it. But, I thought that was interesting. These are jump scares, but they're so far away from where we've gone with jump scares.
Yeah, it's not just the big music sting. It's little cues within the sound that actually do it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah,
breaking window.
That was the only noisy one. All the other ones are silent jump scares. It's just like,
or like the knife coming down and it just cuts the shirt.
Yeah,
it's like that's such an unexpected next little part to happen, but it totally works in the moment. He's always just kind of messing with you, and it's great.
Mm-hmm. Also, the climax of the movie. Can we move on to that?
Yeah.
She's fighting. She's running away from Michael has attacked her. She's running away. Her friends are dead. When the family doesn't open the door for her, that is cold.
Yep.
And they don't even call the cops.
Yeah.
They just turn the lights
off.
off.
Away, you stupid kid.
And then they go back to the kid's house. I love that scene where they're fighting. She's fighting Michael. She stabs him in the eye with a sewing needle.
Yep.
And then
it's a... Oh, yeah, the
sewing needle first. Sorry. And it's the neck.
It's the neck.
He falls behind the couch, and the way the shot is framed, it's like she just can't see him because the couch is in the way. And it's like he's lost in this shot. And I feel like the thing that they've been doing, you expect her to look and him to be gone because that's how it does.
Yeah.
And it's just like that is there's such a truth to that, the way that like fear works in your mind. Like when you're afraid, it's like everything in your house is like a hiding spot. You know, it's like, oh, like, you know, like my front door is locked. Like, oh, is it locked?
Yep.
And you got to walk through your house, and you're like, "Oh, this hallway. Like, what if someone jumps out of this?" And it's like, this is your place. This is your familiarity with this. But it's that betrayal that fear does, and I feel like that captures that moment so well. And you really have to be paying attention to the whole movie, I think, to really experience that. Where it's Michael's here, Michael's gone.
Yeah.
And then Michael's here, and then he's still back behind there, but then he sits up, and it's like, oh shit.
Yep. And then just the entire closet scene is just terrifying.
Yes.
It's like I guess technically this movie predates The Shining, but there's very similar to the axe in the door scene, where it's just you are stuck here, and this unstoppable force is just hammering away.
Well, and it's also, in a way, it's almost scary the way he does it, where he's just breaking through it, and then he accidentally turns...
Great lighting with through the
bulb.
blinds, and the bulb is swinging, and it's just, oh my god.
And then she resourcefully stabs him in the eye with the coat hanger.
Like, and that just feels nasty, even though there isn't a nasty sound associated with it. It's just kind of like this quick little, and it says, "Oh, stabbed right in the eye."
Also, no gore in this movie.
It really isn't. I think, well, there's the bloody sister body in the opening scene.
Sure.
After he's done stabbing it, but that's the aftermath. You know, it's not like gore flying everywhere. And then, some of the other dead bodies, they have blood on them. But yeah, there's nothing Night of the Living Dead style of like something getting hacked off on screen, or Nightmare on Elm Street where he like cuts himself open and he's full of maggots. You know, there's nothing on par with that.
Yeah.
And yet this is thought of as just this terrifying film.
Right. And then when I was watching with Emily, so like when he kills the guy with the glasses and he just props him up and just stabs him that one time.
Yep.
But the way that it's shot, it's like that stab is so just like such an aggressive. I mean, it's stabbing. Obviously, it's aggressive, but just it's like there's such a finale to it, right? Exactly. Where he's just dead, and then you see Michael just kind of turning his head. I'm like, Em, this is a iconic shot, like that turn of the head, and she's like, I get why. I was like, it worked on you too, huh?
Yep.
Very good, very good. One more thing that doesn't work that I was very disturbed by in this movie. Glasses guy with PJ Souls. They're like, okay, here's a plan. We go in there, we hang out, we offer her a beer, and then we try to escape up to the thing. And he's like, oh, what? You rip off my clothes, I rip off your clothes, and I rip off Lindsay's clothes? Lindsay's a little kid.
Yeah.
I don't get that. I mean,
we all kind of just put that one away.
So he did say that then.
Yeah. I think
That's weird.
That is weird.
Because I was talking to Emily, and I'm like if he said the friend's name, that makes sense, right? He's
like Lori or something.
Lori or Annie. He's like, oh yeah, because he wants to fuck he wants to have a threesome. Like, okay, yeah, he's some stupid teenager like with his sweet van. So I get it, but then rip off Lindsay's clothes. Like, is that a joke?
Yeah.
And like, if that's a joke, you shut up.
It's a messed up joke.
It's weird.
For sure.
That was a weird one. Any nitpicks?
No real nitpicks, actually.
All this
got a funny moment during my screening. Christy, dog shows up. Christy.
Oh no, I forgot about that.
Christy, oh, they don't kill a dog in this movie. Me, no, they don't kill the dog in this movie.
Did you forget or did you know? You forgot.
I forgot. Dog and Michael Myers meet up. Christy, oh no, me. They might kill the dog in this movie. And then Michael Myers lifts dog. Sorry, they killed the dog in this movie.
Yeah, she just throw over the table to storm out.
We had a weird series of like watching a lot of movies where dogs died in it.
Oh really? Like what?
Old Boy had one where I forgot a dog.
Chan Park Wook's Old Boy?
Yep. Chan Wook Park.
Chan Wook Park, sorry.
Yep.
Dyslexic.
Dog dies in that. I think we watched No Country for Old Men. Dog dies in that.
Spoiler.
Yeah, there were just like a totally random stream of like, oh, this is a great movie, or we go see a movie and it's like dogs are just dying everywhere.
Good times.
Good times.
All of the sexual encounters in this movie are very short, especially the first one. Like, homeboy.
That is a 2 pumps and done.
Maybe he was just like, I just want to like look at your boobs. Okay, I gotta go home. I think my mom's looking for me. That was weird. And then with PJ Souls, like she seems to have gotten off, which I think is very wishful thinking, like on the part of the creators of the movie. But like she was telling it like it was great, so good for her. But then like the sheets are all up on them. It's like, listen, homie, if we're gonna shoot a scene like this, dedicate yourself to the Church of Ham, all right? And I don't want to hear any fucking... Like, listen, if you don't want to show the butt, then don't do that scene. But if you're going to do that scene, you got to show someone's butt.
Give me a little butt.
Because it just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, nobody's like carrying the sheet that way. It's just, there's going to be some butt.
Yeah, come on.
It just happens.
Come on.
Also, showed boobs, show some butt.
Also, just to any guy out there, no girl wants you to just be like, oh, hold on, I need to go get a beer. Let me just take all the blankets with me. Yep. Just go walk to that beer.
They want you bare ass naked walking across that bedroom.
Yeah.
They dig it.
You're gonna die anyways. And the sheriff is taking like policing advice from Loomis. Why was that again?
Yep. Yeah, government official.
He's gonna come back here. Have your men stationed here. Oh, okay. Wait a minute. Yeah. You're some fucking doctor.
You're no police chief. What are you doing here?
Also, this movie features exclusively stupid wiener kids.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
Stupid wiener kids. Stupid? And they're wieners. And I will say, for the cool stuff, there's very few adults around. It feels like being a kid in the suburbs on Halloween, where it's just you know...
You just meet up with your friends. Everyone's like, yeah, just go out. Have fun.
Trying to make it home before the Simpsons Halloween special.
Yep.
Stuff.
Yeah, it just feels like just little old suburbia.
And he killed a dog. Holy shit! What a bold move. But Kev, you know, I heard that dog deserved it. You know,
yeah.
Fido would not fetch. You know, he was covered in fleas. You know, he deserved it.
He was a Mondale supporter. He was just a dog.
He's just a dog.
There you
go. Bitch and Van. Also, wow, they're watching The Thing.
They're watching The Thing. Yeah.
Bold prediction for the future.
Who'd have thunk? You know. Because, you know, for all we know, he wasn't even working on The Thing yet.
No.
He wasn't.
No. I mean, we talked about this, you know, low budget, no gore, but they make a movie with a few jump scares and just full of dread.
And just, like, there's that great shot of when the kid's walking home from school and Michael Myers is following him in the station wagon, and then he doesn't break his stride walking, but then they kind of frame him in the back window of the station wagon.
Yeah.
It's just like... That's a pretty complicated little camera move there. And you'd think if they had more money, they wouldn't even attempt that. They would try and do different setups for it. You know, setups obviously cost money. The more you have, the bigger your budget is. But it's that simple little camera move, and it is, again, dread. This movie has dread dripping off of it. And it's just very, extremely well made. With lots of long takes... Smart camera move, smart stings of fear and music cues. It's just everything is just this great low budget. This is the ultimate low budget movie, I think, of just every using every limitation to your advantage. And this movie feels like it could be $100 million. You know?
No.
Well, I mean, okay, not that much, but. The talent and thought put behind it is something
priceless.
Is nothing. No amount of money can buy.
Sure.
Apparently $300,000.
Right.
But.
So what you're saying is, if you gave them $1 million, you couldn't have made a better movie.
Yeah, that wouldn't have made anything any better. So it's like you can do it. It can be done.
So in the end. Do you think that it's cool that they don't give Michael any explanation?
I'm totally fine with it. I like that he's just this looming boogeyman.
I like that too, and I think that's the true fear.
We get just enough. So I like that he takes the mask off briefly, and then he has to put it back on before he can do anything else.
Yeah.
Like, that's great. Like, that is, like you said in the opening, when he gets his mask ripped off. Like, what if that's the only thing that's giving him his quote-unquote power?
And Rob Zombie's Halloween explores that a little bit, where he's like making masks when he gets locked up. So he has like masks, you know, and it's like his, like, you know,
interesting. Maybe that's where Buckethead gets his guitar playing prowess. From his mask.
I think he gets that from the chicken.
Probably that too.
Oh, yeah. So in the end, I like this movie, and I think it works. I think it's pretty great. I don't know why everyone loves it. Like, it doesn't hit me in a way where I would think, you know who would love this? everyone who's ever lived.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But
It's not like a really crowd pleaser.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's definitely it's pretty gnarly. It's brutal. It's terrifying. It's not alienating, but it's not just like a.
There's no answer.
It doesn't give you.
You get why people. I get why people love Scream, because Scream is making fun of something while being that same thing and explaining it to you at the same time, right? So it bridges that gap, right? It's like, we're making fun of this. This is how we're making fun of this, and this is also one of the things that we're referencing.
Yep.
So this is not that. This is just like, hey, if you need a reason why Michael Myers is doing it, go fuck yourself.
Stab in the eye.
Yeah. So.
Stab in the neck.
So if
kill the dog. No.
Oh, you want an answer? How about I kill your dog?
Yeah, kill the dog.
What do you think should be done with this franchise? Sequel, remake, Netflix show, TV show, Exorcist TV show. People are saying it's pretty great.
Is it now, huh?
They like it.
I'll check it out.
Come out and play.
Come out and play.
What would you do with this franchise? Let it lie? Let it die?
I would say let it lie. Honestly, I don't want to see any of the sequels. I want to just keep this one right here.
Except for the remake, which you've already agreed to.
We'll see.
No takebacks.
All right, yeah, no takebacksies. I didn't cross my fingers.
Nope, I'll put it in the calendar.
So, I'm curious what they're gonna bring to this new remake that Rob Zombie didn't bring. You know, I just don't know what other angle you can take on this character, because I think they got it so right the first time.
I think you know where the series goes, right?
Not really. No.
Interesting. So Laurie is
I know
his.
nothing about like the sequels or anything.
Spoiler alert for the sequels. Laurie is his baby sister, and that's why he's going after her.
I see. I don't like that.
Yeah, it's pretty lame.
I don't like it.
Yes. So in the future, I think you could do another one. Maybe no flashback. Maybe just an urban legend, and explore it that way. Maybe Michael Myers never killed anyone, and they're all framing him, and it's about sins of the father. No, sorry, that was. Maybe it's just the same movie, but just the kids and no flashback. I mean, that's the simplest way. That's like a simple, like dumb way to do it, right? No flashback, complete mystery, more people, higher body count, more blood, more boobs.
Do you want to
bush, some peen?
Let's get all the genitals.
Yeah, all the genitals.
Now, in this version, gotta take out the genitals. But what if you take the age of all the protagonists down about 3 years? What if they're in middle school?
Why?
I don't know. See little kids trying to defeat this unstoppable force. Someone who's like 13.
How about you split the difference and you have it be between like people who are like 11, 12, and then their babysitters who are like 18. So you have both.
That could be interesting.
So it's like the babysitter murders, but like the babysitter and the kids.
Yeah. I don't know. That you never see a horror movie with like little kids in dangerous peril.
Not anymore. There children of the corn and stuff, but like
But I'm talking like they have to be the hero of their own story. You know, creepy children are ubiquitous in horror movies, but I feel they're rarely the protagonist.
Have you seen Stranger Things?
Yes, I have.
So kind of like that.
Yeah, a little bit like that, except better.
You like Stranger Things, huh?
I wasn't a big fan.
I thought
they really missed out on not making that monster practical.
Ugh.
I'm just saying.
Get out of here with practical.
That was a bonus.
You know what made this movie great? CG.
You bastard. Yeah, Michael Myers, purely CG creation. So much better.
You look at him and he's just like a dude standing there with a bunch of dots on his face. Yep. They put the mask in afterwards.
Just give him a straight face.
Yeah.
Yeah, that monster should have been practical. Stranger Things. Go full 80s homage if we're going to do it.
Mm-hmm. Also, I do think with all horror slasher franchises, if you're going to do them, as long as they're fun, you can kind of get away with it. If you make it a roller coaster, it's like a thrilling thing, you know what I mean? I don't know if this movie has a lot to say, necessarily, you know what I mean? Like,
no, it's not trying to talk about society or look at some grand worldview of how things should be or what's wrong with the world. It's just a little pulp story that happened one night.
So last question, the night that he came back, last question: are you gonna watch this new Blumhouse one?
I mean, I'm penciled in for it, so you say. So yeah.
No, I'm not. No.
Okay.
Fucking Kev, you don't even know what you're penciled in for. You're penciled in for the Rob Zombie ones.
Oh, the Rob Zombie ones.
I'm talking about the upcoming new one. You gonna watch that?
That's the one I'm interested about. What are they gonna do with it? Carpenter's behind it. Is clearly gonna have some input on it. We're gonna get at least one more score out of that guy, so it's worth seeing on that merit alone.
Ryan Turek, head of development at Blumhouse. Also, we saw it at the screening of Neon Demon. Didn't say anything to him because that would have been weird.
Oh yeah.
We just looked at him, stared at him.
So that guy is dressed like an old punk.
Yep.
Because he probably is.
And
punk in a good way.
Yeah. Well, to define it, he was wearing shoes, black pants, black shirt, and a black
vest with some buttons on it.
Pins on it. Yeah.
Lots of pins, lots of buttons.
Yeah, pins and buttons.
Old punk.
So, and he had some glasses. That guy loves Halloween and Scream and all these slashers or whatever, and so he's behind it. So, and he's kind of like the era of Blumhouse that we're in now, like the post, like found footage era.
Uh-huh.
So it's interesting. It'll be interesting to see how that gets brought to the table.
For sure. Yeah, well, if anybody can do it, Blumhouse is kind of on tear right now, so it's who they get to direct this movie? I forgot. It's some hotshot or some young talent.
Some hotshot.
He's a good kid, and the kid stays in the picture.
Oculus director Mike Flanagan.
That's right. The guy who did Oculus.
Oh, right. Oculus was badass.
So I've not seen, but heard nothing but good things.
It was on Netflix.
Great.
2017 release.
Why? That's next year.
One would assume Halloween time would be that. Maybe we'll do it for the podcast.
It could work.
What if we just did nothing but Halloween movies? Sequels, remakes, and the new one.
You could do... What's sad is you could do a sizable amount of episodes with just doing that.
There's Halloween, Halloween 2, Halloween 3 Season of the Witch, Halloween 4, Return of Michael Myers, Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers, Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers, Halloween 7, H2O 20 years later, Halloween Resurrection, Halloween Remake, Halloween 2 Remake, and then Halloween new one. We can get it all done.
There you go. That's what, 10 episodes right there?
Yeah.
However much?
I'm sure our girlfriends would love that.
I'm sure they would. And then we'll do them all with the commentaries, and then we'll do them all with... We'll review each version, the VHS, DVD, and Blu-ray version.
Yeah.
One episode each.
Of course.
I've already made 40 episodes of this fucking thing.
The Halloween podcast. So that's it for us. We wrap up another season of horror picks, spookies, scares, ghoulies, and ghosts.
And Audrey Hepburn.
Can't wait to do it again next year. Kev, did we learn anything?
I learned that we had a good slot. We had a good set of movies this year.
Yeah.
We really did.
Yeah.
A lot of diverse. We had Supernatural. We had Zombie.
We had not really horror, home invasion.
Kind of, horror for people that don't like horror, home invasion. Unfriended, which was a huge surprise for me how good that was. And then
Thanks, Em.
And then The Great Halloween.
And I learned that jump scares are okay. You just gotta earn them.
Always have to earn it.
And that likable characters that are into something more than the plot of the movie is kind of the difference between a shitty horror movie and a good
great
one. Writing wise. Now, cinematography, set design, character design, blah, 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 blah. All separate.
Always elevates it, but you don't need a whole lot of it to make an effective movie. I don't think. I think Night of the Living Dead proves that. I think Halloween proves that.
Mm-hmm.
But if you have a lot of it, you can still make a good one, i.e. A Nightmare on Elm Street.
Indeed. So
suffice to say, there is no particular formula of which a horror movie needs to be great. You can do it from a lot of different angles in a lot of different ways and still make something that is timeless.
It's a broad genre that rocks and is awesome. Get with it.
Rocks your socks like a box of chicken pox.
This episode written by Kevin, music by Jeff Russell. I'm Mr. Jibber Jabber. That's Kev. You all have a safe Halloween in your sexy ass costumes. Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween, everybody.
Until next year.
Good night.